Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike here. It's Kentucky Derby Saturday, and there's a grade 1 on the main track for older sprinters going 7/8 of a mile. It's the Churchill Down Stakes. It should be a war. Before we get to the analysis, head on over to DRF.com. Still time to reach the one-stop Derby shop. You get your Derby packages, past performances, betting strategies, clocker reports for all the major races on Kentucky Derby Day at DRF.com. Here's the field for the Grade 1 Churchill Down Stakes. Originally, Charlatan for Bob Baffert was going to run in this race. Charlatan decided not to run. Everyone else decides to run, and the field is led by Whitmore, Mike, last year's Breeders' Cup Sprint winner, who surprisingly is not the morning line favorite.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's not either. He's a worthy horse to have in here, though, even with Charlatan not showing up. Then he's a really nice horse. I do think he's probably the horse to beat. You know, I'm struggling right now to think of who the leading sprinters in the country are at this stage of the game, but I feel like many of them aren't in here.
Well, I think Whitmore's got to be considered one of them. And CZ Rocket, the horse that beat Whitmore in his last two at Oaklawn, has to be considered one as well. Maybe Mischievous Alex. But I think your point is well taken. This is an evenly matched group. Maybe not true grade ones other than Whitmore. It's an interesting field, also from a pace projector. Let's take a look at the Timeform US pace projector. Very rare to see 7/8 of a mile grade 1 stakes races with 13 horses have a blue bar slow pace scenario.
It really is. We'll see, who takes the initiative in this race early. They have Bengo, the number 10, out there on the early lead at the pace call. I suppose that's possible. He's got speed. I felt like you're going to see more horses go forward, though, Dan. I won't be surprised if they go a little bit in this race.
I would think so. I think the pace is going to be solid, maybe not blazing because they're not like true speeds in there, but a horse like Flagstaff could certainly get forward if nobody wants it, as could Tapit to Win. We've seen him do some good things on the lead in the past, including beating Mystic Guide. The number 1, Fat Man, is expected to come from off the pace, although he can be closer as well. And rumors of the Fat Man's demise were greatly exaggerated because last time out at Gulfstream, a race we're going to watch right now, he popped a 103 Beyer speed figure. Perhaps the difference, the trip. Fat Man was perched outside. The horse in blue in behind Endorsed was shuffled back on the turn. Fat Man got the jump on Endorsed, and Endorsed just couldn't make up the needed ground.
Yeah, I agree with that take on the race, Dan. We'll get to Endorsed in a little while here. Out of this race, I think I'd rather have Endorsed than Fat Man, but I'm not going to knock Fat Man. He ran another fast race there and winning on a little bit of a cutback, and it's not the first time he's popped up with a pretty big effort. His best races have been at Gulfstream Park. They very rarely ship him out of there, but I understand why they're taking a shot here. He was good last time.
He's 2 for 2 at Churchill Downs, but I am concerned that the 2 duds that we've seen for him recently came with Lasix off, and Lasix will be off once again in this grade 1 Churchill Downs. Mind Control is just an honest horse. He's a multiple grade 1 stakes winner. Last time out might not have been a banner edition of the grade 1 Carter handicap other than the winner, Mischievous Alex, and Mind Control. Mind Control, I think, should move forward from that race. He never threatened the winner. He worked out an in-out trip. He was okay.
Yeah, that's how I felt about it, too. I felt like if he could still run, that was a pretty good Carter for him to land in, a race that maybe could get back into the winner's circle. All in all, I just thought he ran fine. He didn't do anything to make me turn around. My, latest impression of him is just that he's lost a step, Dan. He's not quite as good as he used to be. I still think that Carter came back way too fast. I'll believe that 109 Beyer from Mischievous Alex when I see it. I just don't think the race was that fast, and I didn't see Mind Control do any real running in there.
Bason's a bit of an underrated horse. He won the grade 1 hopeful as a 2-year-old, and then they put him on the Derby trail at distances just likely too far for him. I thought he ran a pretty good race in the Amsterdam. His final star as a 3-year-old. Yaupan just controlled the pace up front. Bason was game for second, and Bason came off a long layoff for Todd Pletcher in this race going 7/8 of a mile. It was the Sir Shackleton Stakes, a weaker field, but I want to give this horse some credit, Mike, because he's in between horses, and he still has work to do at the 8th pole, and not only does he reel in the horse on the lead, but he fends off the horse on the outside as well. A game performance.
Yeah, I agree with your take on the race. At the end of the day, this is maybe just a more of a game win than anything else. He certainly didn't, knock your socks off, but it was a pretty long layoff, and I'll give him credit just for getting the job done. We know that he's better than that. He could sit a really good trip in this race. I'm expecting him to take a big step forward in here.
Flagstaff was no match for Whitmore in the Hot Springs 2 starts back. It's possible that Flagstaff is better at 7 than he is at 6, however. He got the stretch out to 7 last time out in the Commonwealth. He also got a drop in class. Let's watch that race. Flagstaff went off as the favorite, and he has work to do at the 3/16, Mike, but once he gets out into the clear on the outside, he just asserts himself over these horses.
Yeah, just a little bit too good for this field. He's going to face tougher horses now, back up into a grade 1, Dan. He's a really honest and rock solid horse. He's going to show up and run his race every single time. He sort of lost me a little bit. I don't really like betting him in races like this. And certainly if he's going to be the favorite, like the morning line suggests, I'll just look elsewhere. Not that I don't think he can win. I think he can win. He's very tactical and he's a good horse.
Tap It to Win has always hinted at potential. He's just never really put it all together at the right time. In that second lifetime start as a 2-year-old at Saratoga, he was one of the few horses that day to win on the rail. Then we saw him beat Mystic Guide on the square at Belmont last year, going a 1-turn route, going on the lead. Off the layoff last time out, I wonder if Tap It to Win is finally beginning to reach that potential. It was a weak field. It was a good spot. I liked how he finished it up. Let's watch that race from Tampa Bay Downs. Tap It to Win got a really nice trip against weaker horses. The rail opened up. He squeezed on through, but I just think it's the perfect comeback race. You didn't squeeze the lemon dry at all, and he has the tactical speed to work out a trip.
Yeah, all very good points, Dan. He ran really well in here. I was actually surprised that Antonio Gallardo put him in behind horses in there. He's such a heavy favorite. Took his chances up the rail, but he got through. The horse did the rest. It was a very easy win. He's another horse. He was a good 3-year-old. I'm expecting him to be better at 4. This horse has a good amount of talent.
Attachment Rate, the number 6, is cross-entered against Maxfield, going 2 turns in the Ali Sheba on Friday. I like him better in this spot simply because I think he is a 1-run, late-closing, 1-turn type. Let's watch Attachment Rates. We saw this Commonwealth last time out against Flagstaff again. There's Flagstaff inside, Attachment Rate outside. Attachment Rate just had so much work to do, Mike. He doesn't change leads in the stretch, but he's making up some ground. And you give this horse pace, he always has a puncher's chance. I just wonder if the setup's going to be there for him.
Yeah, it really is all about setup. I mean, I would feel like they almost have to go faster on Saturday again than they did in this race that we're watching. I mean, they basically went 46 to the half in a 7-furlong race. This horse had no chance in that kind of setup. I thought he did well just to be third. I like this horse. I think he fits this race really well if he can catch any kind of a pace. I wasn't sure if he was going to run here or run Friday, Daniel. That's why I didn't put him anywhere in my picks. But if he runs here, I'm using him.
Class test for the 7, Shasha Shake Me Up, who was claimed for $50,000 4 starts back out of a win at Churchill Downs. He scored at Oaklawn last time out for Peter Miller. Let's watch that race. Electric pace up front, and Shasha Shake Me Up is going to take advantage. You're going to see this horse on the lead basically stop to a walk. Shasha Shake Me Up on the outside, the horse on the rail, they pick up the pieces.
Just another good effort from this horse since Peter Miller claimed him at the end of last year. I think he's run 3 good races for Miller, including this one. You can see the runner-up got through on the rail. He's way better than that horse and wins fairly easily. We'll see if he catches a setup. I mean, I don't feel like he needs some kind of huge pace to be effective, but I do think he wants to sit back and make a run.
Confident placement from a good trainer in Al Stahl on the 8, Get the Prize, who's come back off a long layoff with 2 wins this year over wet tracks, including this effort going 7/8 at Keeneland, where he sparred with another horse early. He's going to put that pace presser behind him now, and he's just going to hold off the closer. All in all, a good effort, and the buyers are going the right way. I do think this horse has some potential, and it's nice that we're finally seeing some regular racing from him. I just wonder if this is too tough a spot stepping up into the stakes ranks for the first time.
Yeah, maybe it is. I mean, I guess on the positive side for him, it didn't come up nearly as tough as it could have. So that's a benefit for this horse. He's been really good sprinting throughout his career, Dan. I understand why they stretched him out. It didn't really work out. And since they've cut him back, he's just run nothing but good races, and his last 2 are the best 2 yet. That was a pretty easy pace last time. So that concerned me about him. He's going to have to go faster in here.
We've said it before, Whitmore received one of the great rides of last year's Breeders' Cup in the sprint by Arad Ortiz, who just dropped him down inside on the turn behind a fast pace. He was able to get through, and he drew off in a nice-looking performance. And although Whitmore was beaten at his favorite track, Oaklawn, in his 2 starts this year, there's no shame in losing to CZ Rocket. That horse has come back really, really good. Let's watch the Count Fleet Sprint Handicap, where he showed a little bit more tactical speed going 6. He was in behind horses briefly turning into the lane. Now he's going to split horses. horses. I wonder if just waiting that split second worked against him, although CZ Rocket pretty much has his number in the stretch.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the case of each of those last two races, and that's not because Whitmore didn't run well. CZ Rocket has just been better than him in their last two matchups. CZ Rocket is not in this race. I think that helps Whitmore. You know that he can get any kind of a trip in a race, so that helps him, whether the pace is fast or slow. It really isn't supposed to compromise him. I mean, in a lot of ways, he's just the horse to beat in here.
A couple of questions about Whitmore, because I have a feeling he might be the favorite at post time. A, do you think he's better at 6 furlongs than he is at 7/8 of a mile? And B, how much does the Lasix off worry you? This is going to be start number, what, 41 for Whitmore, first time Lasix off.
Yeah, I mean, I can't worry about, what happens with or without Lasix because I don't know how it's going to affect him. So I can't really factor it into my handicapping. I don't care about 7 furlongs for this horse. I know they don't try it very often. He's a grade 1 winner over 7 furlongs, Dan.
Bango loves Churchill Downs. He is 4 for 6 at this surface, and Timeform US believes he can get to the lead. Now, he pushed the pace in the Commonwealth last time out, and he just came up empty. He tried to make a bid in between horses on the turn. He was rebuffed. He didn't change leads. He's going to have to do a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, he has run faster races in the past. I guess that's a good thing for him. I didn't see what his excuse was last time, and what wasn't, or didn't seem to me to be a very strong field anyway, Dan. I didn't like his performance at all last time.
In a similar vein as Attachment Rate, the 6 is the 11 Hog Creek Hustle, is sort of a late-running one-turn horse, although it seems like he's found some tactical speed in his last few races. This horse was on the Derby Trail in 2019, but he really found himself when cut back to 7 furlongs, a win in the Woody Stevens, just missed in the H. Allen Jerkins. He may not be the most consistent horse in the world, but if he gets pace, he's going to run. Horses with his running style, though, they not only need pace, but they need a little bit of luck from a trip standpoint.
Yeah, that's true. Being, the price that he is on the morning line, I'll, sort of hope that he gets the right kind of trip and setup in here because he's a great price for a horse who has plenty of races that would make him really, really tough in here. He didn't do anything at all in the Commonwealth last time. That was off the layoff. I suspect that he's going to run a lot better than that in here if he can get some kind of a trip. He's too good of a price for me to leave out.
Some would argue that the 12 Endorsed has never really lived up to his potential. I think this horse wants to go one turn, and they've run him in some races going 2 turns where maybe it just didn't work to his advantage. Last time out in the race we saw with Fat Man, he was just stopped in behind horses on the turn. I like that he ran on at the end of that race, and he's another horse that's tactical enough where Rosario can use his speed to get a spot.
Yeah, I thought he would get a good trip in this race. I'm with you last time. I think he got a little bit unlucky there when shuffled out of position. His race 2 back, even the 1-turn mile at Gulfstream, I even feel like he ran pretty well there, Dan. That pace was solid, and he was right up there. He took over early and opened up on that field. Attachment Rate came from way out of it and ran him down. I think he's run better than it looks in his last 2 starts.
Lexitonian completes this field. His big race last year came in the Bing Crosby, but that was a race that just featured a wicked pace where he and Collusion Illusion picked up the pieces from the back of the pack, and Lexitonian just missed. The Forego, I'll give him a wet track. He did not run very well in the Phoenix. And off the layoff last time at Gulfstream, I realized maybe he was a little bit fresh, but he was no match for either Fat Man or Endorsed.
Yeah, he wasn't. He didn't run well last time. It was first time off the bench. They used his speed in there, so maybe they were just trying to tighten him up a little bit to show up here for the grade 1. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the plan for Jack Sisterson, Dan. He's another horse in here. I mean, his best race and the one where he just missed in the grade 1 came with perfect circumstances and a really fast pace, but he's not that kind of horse. He does not need a big pace in front of him. In fact, if they go slow, I expect him to be right up close. He can win this race.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the grade 1 Churchill Down Stakes. Mike, you're going with Endorsed. A little bit of trouble last time. Go back in Formulator, folks, and watch that replay. You'll see Endorsed get shuffled back on the turn, and by the time he got clear, Fat Man was gone.
Yeah, I just think he's going to be the right kind of price to take a shot with here. Again, I think his last 2 races might both be a little better than they look. He's got to come through this time, Dan. As you mentioned, he's been a little bit of a disappointment. I'm going to give him one more chance to break through with a big race. I'm going to use him. I'm going to use a lot of Bazin too. I think Bazin makes a lot of sense in here.
I want to use a little bit of Endorsed as well. My kind of price idea is maybe to try to get the prize into the numbers, stepping up in class a little bit. It'll be interesting to see if he can run with these horses. Whitmore, to me, can work out his own trip. I think he's tactical enough going 7, and on his best day, he might very well be the best horse. 9-1, 12-8 for me, 12-3, 9-11 for Mike. Excellent betting race. The grade 1 Churchill Down Stakes. Good luck.